Hey everybody, welcome to The Wickedly Talented, kind of a return to podcast form for, the Villainous board game, as there's a previous one, obviously, and this is obviously inspired by that. Today I have my co-host with me, Jab1000.
Yeah, boy.
Alright, it's over, you're done. No, anyway. But today we're going to be talking about why do we make customs. This is a villainous podcast about making customs, and it will explore the intricacies and why people enjoy making customs, why people enjoy making customs, what goes into making a custom, what makes a good custom, all that. Because I feel like what'd you say?
It is time to reveal all the secrets.
All the secrets. If you don't know how to make a custom, listen, I'm gonna tell you how to make one, and you're gonna cry because I'm gonna tell you what you make is bad. Anyway. Without further ado, we can continue on. Our topic for today, and as you can see in the video title, will be, why do we make villainous customs? I'll go first just to get it out of my system because mine's very short. I joined the Villainous community almost a year ago to the day. I know it's in February, probably a little bit before then, but let's just say it's February because it's the time I started posting about my first custom. The Janitors released them around the same time. They were terrible, but I really enjoyed making customs because customs really... The Villainous system has so much just intricacies and detail, and yet it's so simple that you can just apply anything to it, and it's really beautiful. It's great, and it's just so fun and easy to be making villainous customs, and that's why I make villainous customs, because I just like seeing my characters in a form that I can create. Jab, you can go ahead and say why you do it.
It is beautiful. It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
The thing about the Janitors, though, is that obviously when it was first made, it was searing, eye-bleaching pink everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Pink and purple.
I think I still have one of those. It was a bad decision. Like, when I first posted it, I think standards weren't too high yet, because they were like, some of the people were trying to validate, saying, well, when I play Hotline Miami, it kind of makes sense. Like, and now I look at that and I'm like, no, you should have just told me it looks like shit.
I like how you said standards weren't too high back then. I think what you mean is your standards weren't that high back then.
True. And like, when it comes down to new creators, you can obviously see it. Like, some creators don't do the right fonts or stuff like that, or the right colorings and whatever. And it comes down to just the more you make customs, or the more you play customs, you realize, man, you really have to match. You really want to match this quality because it looks really nice, and not have searing hot pink that blazes into your eyes every time you decide to open up the deck. And that's how I originally released it too. It's not great, and I mean the way it is now, it's okay visually, it's okay, but it's just not good.
I think it's true, like, because Hotline Miami is such a very bright, vibrant game visually to begin with. So then there were all these screenshots with these very like bright pixelated colors just right in your face. But then the portrait was also just these two heads on like a very dark purple background, and you were just like,
it didn't
we
match.
don't know what we're getting into.
Yeah, because I very much. So, Hotline Miami has this little quirk gimmick thing. Whenever you screenshot it, I think because it's an older game, it just doesn't work. It was delayed whenever you would screenshot it. Like, you would screenshot it, and it would immediately send you back 10 seconds, like, back to the title screen. It's like, okay. And you'd have to try to screenshot it again, and that's hard when you want to get specific things. So, I decided, out of my infinite wisdom, to go, you know what? I'll make it all myself. So, all the card images are made by me for the first time I ever used Photoshop. So a lot of them are just floating heads, no text or anything, nothing special. And you know what? I'm doing that with my remake of Janitors, but it will actually have some visual spice, and some cards are actually from in-game, instead of just the same background these little floating heads on this bright pink card, and then very calm background. In all, the janitors originally sucked. They were bad. Please.
Now with new soothing lo-fi colors.
Yeah.
Easy
Mm-hmm.
gameplay. But when you're feeling stressed.
Yeah. That I will eventually put out. Eventually. Eventually. I have been a little swamped with work, but hopefully I can get it out sometime.
Mm. So before you started making janitors, had you experienced the other side of the server, like the more official side, and been a part of like playing the official game?
So the reason I started playing Villainous was so there was this game on tabletop called Danganronpa Werewolf. I love Danganronpa, and I love Werewolf, and I joined their community, and they were so nice, and they're the ones that got me to probably my first 200 to 300 hours on TTS Simulator. Or Tabletop Simulator, I guess that makes more sense. And they were fun, because Werewolf is fun. And that was during, like, 2-3 summers ago. Afterwards, you get a little bored of just the same board game over and over again. You need a little bit more of a, creativity. So, I decided, oh, look, there's this Villainous game. I want to try it out, because before I started playing with a lot of people, I just downloaded everything on the workshop. I downloaded so many things that I found interesting, and one of those things was Villainous. I never got to play it, because, funny story, I thought it was a table that was no longer being updated, because I didn't know you had to press the button. I didn't know the little button. Yeah.
You're part of the problem.
I was part of the problem. I'm the reason why the arrow exists, everyone. I'm the reason. I'm the reason why the arrow exists in the mod. And you know what? I would have loved the arrow when I first started playing. So when I first opened it up, I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I just clicked off of it. Obviously, I learned TTS more afterwards, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to click this, right? So, yeah, I learned TTS more, which in turn made me realize it more, because originally it was just like 20 hours on TTS. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? But then I decided to play with those people on that server. And one of the guys in that server, his name was Scoot, love him. Too bad I'm sad I don't talk to them anymore. He was like, oh, I get bored of Villainous easily. And we're like, I think I saw a selection for customs. So we pulled out the customs, and he was like, oh, okay. And then he played Mother. I played an official one. So officially, the first villain I ever played, I want you to guess. Actually, I want you to guess. What do you think the first villain I ever played was?
Lady Tremaine, because you're a toxic little gremlin. I have ideas.
It was Pete.
Oh, I was thinking it was Pete.
Yeah, the reason why was his art style. His art style was like, yo, this is awesome! He's black and white! So I chose Pete. And by the way, when we originally played, we didn't know, so there was covering locations with heroes, but I didn't know if you defeated a hero, you could still perform those 2 top actions, so we played without you doing the 2 top actions after we defeated a hero at our location or at another location. It was miserable. But I think I almost won my first Pete game until I remember the 2 other we played with 2 other people. It was Chick Hicks pre nerf Chick Hicks. I think it was after Warehouse, but before he got even more nerfed.
The most based Chick Hicks.
Yeah, and then Clive, and Clive ended up winning, which is very surprising. I think nowadays, I think people think Clive is very slow. I mean, I don't play too much Clive, but that's what I feel like I've heard. But either way, Clive ended up winning, and that was a very nice experience. I think. Oh, we also played a second round with everything the same except the Scoot decided to switch to Radiance, and he got really mad because it was pre-update Radiance, where you could literally be set back to only 2 infection tokens minimum on your board, and everything else could just be cleared. So he got really miffed about it, and he was like, "Oh, this sucks." But yeah, and so after that, I was like, "This is awesome." And so I just decided, I spent a couple hours just looking through customs, and then I eventually joined the server, and I learned how easy it was to make cards. And at first I didn't use the generator because I wanted to hand make my cards. Big mistake. I realized I don't have depth perception because I think I have a mental brain hemorrhage. I might as well be a Cyclops, because if you look at my cards, if you look at janitors, so many of the things are like misaligned. And maybe, and I can blame a little bit on that, on Photoshop aligning, but no, buddy, I'm apparently a Cyclops. But but anyway, after that, I met with a couple people on the server. I could say who I first played with, but I don't think I want to.
I was like that.
yeah. I don't think I want to right now. Maybe in the future when we get a couple episodes in. But I played with them, and they were interesting. They were interesting matches. Just so you're not out of the blue. You probably already know, but I'll send it to you. That's the first person I ever played customs with.
Right.
So they were interesting. I think it really got me into the customs community, though. My favorite custom, I think till this day, and will forever be to this day, until another custom replaces it, and even then won't even replace it with how much I love it, will be forever be Ghostwood. Because at the time I was playing, at the time I was playing Western of Loathing. And
okay.
I was like, oh, this is amazing. Plus, I always loved Kingdom of Loathing. It was great. So, it was really fun. Really nice. So, that will forever be my favorite custom until the next one is made. Which he's already said he's going to make. So, that's exciting. And then, eventually, I got into officials, and I found Tremaine, and I know everybody hates Tremaine, but I'm sorry, losers. I love Tremaine.
This is the classic newbie custom player coming in and being like, "What's the most broken character that doesn't follow anyone's rules but their own?" Ghostwood. Damn, Ghostwood's my favorite. I love Ghostwood. I love playing things on other people.
I mean, I didn't even realize that. I just thought the art was funny. I'm actually gonna take a little break here. We're gonna take a second. I'm gonna make sure the audio is fine, because since it's our first episode, we're all working out the kinks out. So in editing and post, I'm just gonna quickly switch this out. We'll stitch them together. I'm gonna pause recording though, real quick. All right, we're back. Sorry, just wanted to make sure we weren't having any technical difficulties, because if we had, I would have cried. But we're fine now, and I'll just stitch that in editing, but it's fine. Anyway, you can continue your thought.
Well, I was just saying, you pretty much, had the move from Danganronpa, which is searing pink, to Pete, which is completely black and white, no color whatsoever, to Ghostwood, who is also no color whatsoever.
Black and white!
And then you were like, I'm bored of monochrome. I want to make it pop.
Yeah, I want
everyone's eyeballs
eyes bleed. I remember specifically, too, because I did this, I think, my freshman year of high school, because, wouldn't you know, I'm not an adult guy, sorry, guys. I did it my freshman year of high school. I literally woke up, and a little bit of context, my mom used to get used to get up really early to go to work, which would in turn have us get up really early. So I would wake up around 5 a.m. when the time I went to school was 7. So I usually had an hour just to myself doing whatever. And within that hour, I used to type down cards, type down janitor cards, or like design it and stuff like that. And I remember before leaving, I finished the beard card, and I was like, this looks good, before I changed it to the cool colors, the black pink, the bright pink. This looks good. I said, this looks good, while having an actual headache because I was looking at it. I'm not lying to you, when those cards actually gave me genuine headaches.
Right, yeah.
And it was just, it was bad. It was not good. Oh yeah, here it is. I can also send it to you. I have it on me right now. Beautiful.
Just looking at your screen, just eyes square, just filled with bright colors.
Oh, so my eyes are very weak too. I get migraines really easily. So this just didn't help. Oh god, I'm so happy I've moved on from that. And actually, I do have, for the 3 original villains I have, until I decided to make Double King, which is probably my best custom made that I've ever made for myself. I deleted one of them because I thought it was just that cringe. But I do have the original Janitor's text document and the original Hungry Box document, which is my 3rd villain that I ever made. And they're so interesting to read through now, because it's just like, wow, my thought process and how I wanted to format everything.
Yeah, this is kind of the thing, like, because we're both in the arts and like performance art. So it's almost like when you write something, you always go back later, and it's like looking over an old script that you've written, just seeing what your thought process was like at the time and what you thought was a good idea.
Like, it's so differently formatted than any other document I ever did. I used to put the hex colors in here. I used to go down by 1, not putting the abilities. I just did X1 General, X1 Biker, not knowing their abilities. I was just putting down what I thought would be good names, which now in hindsight, I think that's a terrible way to do it, because you're kind of restricting yourself in that. And then I put changes needed, like whenever vigilantes are moved or using a vanquish action, put 1 token on this is when I decided to do the token system, which just isn't good. I also did 2nd states because I got off on the wrong foot of customs, and we're like, yeah, states are a good idea. They weren't. And if you look at it now, they have states. Or I don't think they have states anymore, but. And then the employment zone, which actually was a really cool concept. I really like the employment zone, which I've kind of converted it into what it is now on what I have on my playtest, Janitors, where the main idea is that you have passive effects while cards are in your deck, and you have little. I really like the employment zone, where you would play your vigilantes first to a location and then have to play them to your realm. I think that's a really interesting concept. And Swallet gave me the quick idea of, hey, what if they had abilities while in the zone or whatever? And I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then that's what kickstarted the wanting to remake it. So
right.
Yeah, but yeah, reading over it, what I was, and I can see my writer side in this, because I wasn't writing card abilities here. I wrote card abilities when I got to Photoshop and I started designing them. Here, I realized what I wanted to write, surprisingly enough, I don't know if you guys will know, but I wanted to write the guides. I literally wrote the whole guide in here that I wanted to do, with every single title, the objective, and even the little blurb text, which I'll read it out for you for a second. So I put, from the drug-ridden streets of Miami, communist scum have started to crawl into your society and claiming places by taking names and placing blames. You have had enough. both of you. It's time to reclaim what's rightfully America's and kill whoever stands in your way. You are the janitors, more importantly, representing the corporation of 50 blessings. And
this is like
what?
Trying to create a feeling, trying to create a mood.
And honestly,
that you're introducing.
Yeah, and I think it's really effective too. It's just, it's obvious where my mind was at the time. I was not wanting to make a deck. I was wanting to make a story. And
yeah.
And a big part of it was making the guide first out of anything. And hey, I guess I am the guide commission guy, but also I don't make the guide first now. I make it last. Because I love making guides. I hate writing them. No, I don't actually hate them, but it's like you do have to be, at least for me, I do have to be in the right mood to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the janitors, and then we have Hungrybox, which I don't even want to open up. Though I love Hungrybox's concept because it's just funny. It's just funny. Love you, Hungrybox. You're no villain, but like, and everybody was hyped for it too. That was the first deck I advertised, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, this is awesome." Because everybody knows Smash, so everybody thought Hungrybox. And actually, I don't even think you know this, but there is a secret fourth villain that I never released. Because I didn't like the concept and I scrapped it. But I think everything about it, other than what I wanted to do for it, was amazing. And it was Bob from Clay World. And if you know what Bob from Clay World is, it's so good. I want to return to it so bad just because of the art.
Shoutouts to the one person listening who's a fan of Clay World.
Yep.
Meeps loves you.
Which is me. I'm a Clay World fan. I'm the one watching this back.
Okay, that's interesting. I think I don't really have concepts like that get super left behind the way that I think that one does. I think all the ideas that I start making, they at least get to a point where they are made and in a state where they can be played. They don't have to be good, but I don't think I've ever had a situation where it's like I completely abandon an idea before it's been taken to a physical state. I think
Bob was playable. I have Bob saved on TTS. The problem was Bob was just not good, and even when I was making Bob, I always wanted to make the Double King deck. I always wanted to make the Double King deck, and I was really excited to make Double King as a deck. So Bob took the shaft because not only did I want to try my hand at making Double King, I also was slightly allured by the card generator. And was starting to be like, I hate making physical cards. This is a pain in the ass. I want to use the card generator. Which was a brazen experience to learn the way I make it now, which I also have a video.
Yes.
Give me a second.
That's a really good tool for someone who made a video to explain the generator, because it's definitely the most convenient way to like make a full deck without putting loads and loads of time into opening separate tabs in GIMP and ordering like re-importing images and text and all that jazz. I think, like, shoutouts to the people who still make cards by hand, because it's definitely not for me either.
And all of them look, and they look better than the generator, because doing it by hand gives you the benefit of not only being able to screw with the images that you have, like you can zoom in certain parts of it, you can have images that aren't exactly aligned and you can align it yourself, but also because I don't know what it is, but something about handmade cards, you can tell, like, for example, RPM's cards are all handmade, and you can tell. And they're great. They look beautiful. But, honestly, like, for me at least, I don't have the time to sink into hand-making cards, unfortunately. So a big part of it just goes into, well, let's make the card. Let's just put it into card generator instead. And the card generator cards look fine, especially if you know what you're doing. So it's just it's just, and also the reason I made the tutorial video, if you guys didn't know, I have a tutorial video for the card generator. Made a tutorial for the card generator. The reason I made that was because I saw one too many comments saying, how do I use the card generator? Because while the card generator has a pretty in-depth document going over what it does, I was like, I'm also a visual learner like them, like the people that probably said that, and I was like, yeah, it was hard for me, and I felt bad asking 5 questions every time I had a question about the generator. So I was like, screw it, we're just gonna go over the generator, especially the way I do it, not the way other people do it, because other people use spreadsheets. I don't use spreadsheets. I use the document feature, and you know what, it works fine. And I just wanted to help everybody because I saw one too many messages saying, how do I use the card generator? And then people going, and then I was like, the easiest link is just YouTube to what I made, and that's it.
Nice.
And it's really simple and easy, and that's I really like that I made that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the card generator is a great tool, great useful tool, if you're getting into custom making. Excuse me. Go ahead and use it, because it's especially with my video, it makes it a lot easier to use. But if you also want to hand make cards, don't let me stop you. They look beautiful, and if you do it right, you so good. You know what I mean? Especially if you're on Mac.
Let me stop you instead. Let me be the one to stop you and say, hey, do yourself a favor.
Yeah. Make handmade cards, because they look awesome.
No.
But yeah, that's the card generator. Oh, and before I forget, card generator was made by Failure Factory, who originally just made it for himself because he's a greedy little bastard, and then he was like, you know what, this is for everybody else. So love you Failure Factory for making that, for giving it to the community as well. We probably wouldn't have half the customs of quality that we have now without it. And it's a good standpoint for eventually doing handmade cards, because you learn alignments and all that. But anyway, that's enough about the card generator, about what I make. Jab, I want to know why you enjoy making customs. If this sounds written down, it's not. I'm just trying to fuck with you guys and think that I have notes. Jab has notes. I didn't write notes. So, anyway, what what made you want to make customs?
I can't even really remember why I... no, not why. I can't remember what made me decide to jump into the custom side of the community. Because for me, I started playing the physical game with my family. They introduced me to it, and I was like, "Oh, this is really fun! Like, I really enjoy playing this." Because my first character that I got introduced to was Scar, and the thing about Scar was that I played a lot of TCG type games like Yu-Gi-Oh and that sort of thing. So the way my mind kind of interpreted how I was playing Scar. I was like, okay, it's kind of like I have the bunch of monsters in my hand, like hyenas. I play them. I want to attack opposing monsters or heroes, like Mufasa especially. So I was like, okay, this all makes sense in my mind. And I think that was probably one of the best ways I could have got introduced to the mechanics was through Scar, because it felt so much similar to how I viewed
a card game.
Yeah, exactly. So then, yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's like if you were introduced instead by like someone like oh, how do you say like Corella or something. It probably would have been harder for you to understand because it's not that applicable. Because Corella is definitely more of a unique character. That isn't much about playing monsters and vanquishing. You're more playing stuff and then moving shit around, and that's and it's very interesting that your first one was Scar, and that was very applicable. It's very interesting. Usually, I feel like a lot of people play stuff from the base box if it's not online, so that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I did have a choice of ones from the base box, because my family had all the boxes that were out at the time, which I think Perfectly Wretched was out as well, so I could have played Cruella if I saw her, I think. But I got drawn to Scar mainly because of The Lion King.
Funny Tiger
because that was a big And
I guess everybody does whatchamacallit does go for whatever movie they enjoy the best for the first time they ever play it, right? For me, it was Pete because I love cartoons, so I was like, he's black and white, oh my god, it's so cool! Even though I had no standard to what normal villainous cards look like, so I just fucked over my perception of villainous cards for a bit, because I was just like, black and white funny, haha!
Can we talk? I want to say though, sometimes, speaking of how cards look on TTS, and like with the generated stuff, sometimes when I go back to the physical version, it's good to just look at the art of the cards, because in person, it's still so good.
Oh yeah. If you guys don't own any physical versions and just play it on TTS, I don't blame you. Free board games are free board games. And especially to a mod like Not My Dance's quality, which, by the way, the Villainous mod is made by Not My Dance, if you didn't know. The quality is pristine on his table, but there is nothing that beats having the physical versions in your hand. Like, I pre-ordered Star Wars Villainous, and I don't play it. I don't really play it that much because I don't really love Star Wars Villainous as much as I love Disney Villainous, but if I want to look at some art, I pull out that box and I'm just swifting through cards, because it's best part about that set, in my opinion, is just the art. It is fantastic.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah, and I oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, well, then after that, I started looking online because I was really interested in Villainous. So I was looking for kind of what was happening online with other people who may have played the game as well. Like, what were their thoughts? I was like, I want to look up any tips and strategies that are being written by other people and things like that. And I discovered the Let's Get Wicked server. So I joined that, and so initially I was all about like looking up the official side of things, looking up things to do with the different official villains, learning more about how to play them and things like that.
Yeah, fuck custom. I don't know what the hell that is. Fuck custom.
But then I was like, I think from what I remember, because this was like, it must be for, I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago now, that like I always knew the customs side was happening like in the background of when I was ever looking at the server. Like, it was like off to the side. You had to you'd scroll down and see the channels for all the custom stuff like that. And so I don't know why what gave me the spark
Courage.
to
Yeah.
then like put myself over into that community.
Yeah.
But then I had the idea for doing a custom version of Yoshikage Kira in the back of my mind, and there was just one point where I was like, I want to just like throw this out to the community, kind of like as my first step into that side. I put a message that was just like, I have this idea for Kira, and it has this concept and these mechanics. And I was like, what do you think? And a couple of people responded. Like, I clearly remember Chaos Fantasy being one of the first people to respond, just like replying, you know, I think you have all the bits you want. I would think about this. I would think about this.
Which,
and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And to preface, I wanna interject here for a second. To preface, this is not the Yoshikage Kira I made a video on. Just to get it for anybody that doesn't know, I want to clear that out. I didn't just shit on this guy's. I didn't just shit on Jab's Yoshikage Kira, his first custom. No, I just wanted to clear that for anybody that just was that might have misunderstood that, because please, I didn't just shit on him, please. But anyway, sorry.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine this revenge play of like you put out that video about Lex's Kira,
yeah,
but it was actually about mine, and I'm like, I want to do something to this man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna join his podcast and I'm gonna ruin it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shred it to bits.
We're gonna be 30 episodes in, and he just goes, all right, you know what? This is it. This is my moment, and just gets me canceled on every single platform. But anyway.
So then I was getting into my first process of making a custom villain. And speaking of searing pink as well, I remember when I was making the realm and the card fronts as well. I don't know how this happened now, the way I look at the templates for the cards now, because the templates now have the sections where it specifically says use the colorize tool on this layer and it will come out on the realm, not taking over like the texture. You still get the multiplier layer over the color, so that it doesn't look like a big, like you literally just paint it over with a highlighter. But then like it came out and all the realm color was like bright pink. The card fronts were bright pink, and you couldn't see the texture anymore. So then I also had the bright idea to change a lot of the colors of the outlines as well, because I had it in my head. I was thinking like all these creative ways of just like incorporating as many colors of Kira's character design into the visual graphics of the realm and the cards and stuff. So I had like the text in yellow, I had the outlines in blue of his suit, and then the rest of it was all this purpley pink.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm remembering them now. It's oh god. Yeah. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So then I think I was very fortunate that when I wanted to playtest it, I got into a good rhythm of having kind of developing a regular group of people that were like, I'm happy to give you my time to help you with this idea as a newbie, as like someone who's just getting into the community. And that was really helpful.
Yeah, it's good. Nowadays, you won't see me, or I don't think you will see a lot of people going to the public matchmaking, because I think Villainous definitely, at least our Villainous server definitely has its slow months. But during when I played, and when and I'm sure when Jab played, because he joined very much before me, I think you would see a lot of communities just fostering from just, hey, you want to play test? Yeah, let's play test. And unfortunately, that's been invaded with, unfortunately, it's you don't get the best advice from randos and stuff. So people have now started to rely on their friends that they have tested with originally, and let's test together. Oh, okay, and then you get better advice from that, which is just the unfortunate side effect of the growing server. But honestly, to each their own. Everybody that is now currently matchmaking, I'm sure they're building their own community, and I hope that they one day will get to their point of reaching their point where they have their own group, where every time they say at matchmaking, they'll get somebody, which is really endearing. I think that our community goes through like generations in such a short amount of time. Like every other day, you would see me go, "Hey guys, who do you want to play this? You want to play Villainous? You want to play Villainous?" You would see me, and now you don't see me ever. I'm gone, no more. But
I do agree. I think it's unfortunate that there are some creators, I think, that unfortunately either some of them don't go out looking for other people to playtest with. They're more comfortable doing their own solo playtest and that sort of thing. Or there are some people that are like, I would like people to come and playtest this with me because I don't want to be the one that's always doing it. Because I need new ideas. But then I think there are a lot of them that don't get that, unfortunately, because there are some, I think, customs that you see get released, and the person's kind of like, I got this to the point where I like it. I did these playtests, and these are what's fun for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get anybody else to look at it, but I'm putting it out so that now other people can look at it.
And in general, that's not a bad thing, yeah.
No. I think it would be cool to have a kind of what's the word I'm trying to say? This kind of idea of people being more involved in looking at customs after they've been released for the people who haven't had the chance or the time to do all this stuff beforehand, before it gets released. Because like you say, I think it's valid to put it out there and have that be the way that you get feedback, get other people to like experience it, rather than like maybe like cherry picking different people every so often, being like, do you want to playtest? Do you want to playtest? I think that would be a very helpful community thing to be more involved in.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is, it's valid if you think your deck is fine to play with. It's valid to think that, you know what, I think this is a finished product, I'm proud of what I did, that's it. You know what? And that is completely fine. I don't diss anybody, or I don't dislike anybody that decides their product is fine. The problem is, though, I feel like the best way to get your quality out of your custom is getting advice from other people. You can't grow as a creator if you just rely on advice from yourself. You can grow to an extent, but the best advice you can get is from playing with other people, noticing what is wrong, what is right, everything like that, and just learning from each other, basically. That's the best way you can grow as a creator, is getting advice from other people that either have more experience than you, or you learn more from them, or whatever it needs to be. Learning is a big part of it. Learning is a big part of it, and a big part of it will be playing with other people that know more than you, that know better than you, that will eventually grow you as a creator. I don't think I would have grown as a creator if I didn't play with other people. I think if I stuck in my own hole forever, I would have never expanded on my creation. And you know what? I'm happy I did play with other people. But again, understandably, if some people are just completely fine with that, they are completely fine with that, and I have no problem with them, especially since they're not in my life now because they are in their own, so it's whatever.
And I think it's valid the way that, like, sometimes some people just aren't. They're not here to make high quality content. They're not here to make like to reinvent the wheel with all their like ideas and stuff. They just want to make it just to get some creative ideas out there and just like make something that they're happy with. And if they don't want to like take that further, that's fine. Like they don't. I think we've all learned that. That's a valid way of making custom content. It's just like it doesn't have to be for all of us. It can be just for you, and that's fine.
Yeah, and for some people, it's just like a hobby for a month. They like the villainous game. They might want to create their own thing. They do it for they do it for a month. They put a finished product. It might not be the best quality, but they're happy with it, and they'll never return to custom making again because they're happy with it they made, and they don't want to go any further with that, and that's completely fine. This is a hobby. This is whatever you want to do. None of us are getting paid to make customs except commissions because pay your artist, kids. Yeah, I mean, some people just have it as a pick up and play hobby. Like, in fact, Gander's took me multiple months because I posted my first time on the server, like, hey everybody, I'm in the customs community. I make a little bit of progress, and then I didn't talk for like 4 months because I dropped Villainous completely. I dropped Villainous completely. Not only did I just get busy, but also I just lost interest in it. I picked it back up, I'm like, maybe I should finish Janitors. And then in that same week, I finished Janitors, and it was like, wow, this is really fun. And that led me to create, I think, now I have in my repertoire 6 customs officially out and multiple in hell. I think it's nice. I think it's definitely something. It's definitely an acquired thing. A lot of people don't want to create content without getting paid or without getting a reward, and sometimes the reward of making your own product isn't enough. Because it's not a 100% chance that everyone's gonna love your custom. So a lot of people see it as, what's the point if I'm not really getting recognition for making my stuff? And that's completely fine. You don't have to make it. But again, hobbies are hobbies. You get recognized for making stuff. It's whatever. And it's even if you don't, you should be making custom villains for yourself. That's what I believe. And
And now, a word from our sponsor. Are you tired of making your own guide by yourself? Why not pay Fallen Meeps to make it for you?
It's only $10. You can pay for my Zaxby's snack that I will get after work. Pay me now, and I will make customs. Please! If you do want to get seriously advertised on this podcast, you could also just ask. I will, if anybody wants to advertise commissions, honestly, I'll just be like, okay, yeah. Because it,
I won't. I will never sell out.
You will never sell out. No, you make your own. You make nothing. You are only a customs creator. You know, you're pretty good at it. I was like, make commission. He's like, no. But yeah, for me, I guess I'll be the first sponsor that I'm paying myself. So let me make that transaction real quick. Alright, I just paid myself. I make guides, $10 a guide. If you want me to make it for you, provide the text. Or I could even make the text, but keep in mind, I don't know your custom. I didn't make your custom, so I might not make the best guide if I'm making the text. So, but that's, if anybody needs a guide, if you don't want to put that on you, spend $10, get it out of your system. And I'll also live stream it. I'll get content out of it. But if anybody also wants to ever promote the commissions. I'll do one each one of these podcasts. Shout out a commissioner that needs a little bit more recognition. Shout out the prices, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah. You ever need a guide? DM Fallen Meep. And if you ever want to scream at Jab for being talented but not wanting to sell out his shit, tell him that he's an asshole in his DMs. But anyway.
Scream at the top of your voice.
Yeah. Just scream. Anyway, how many more notes do you have?
I don't. Why are you gonna say it like that? Make it more authentic and
All
off the cuff, bro.
All right, Jam. Let's see. Now we're starting to get to the end of this podcast. So how about you? Let's start wrapping it up. Is that better?
I still to this day wonder how you're doing in performance art. Truly,
I have videos of my play that I should have sent it to you.
amazing.
But anyway,
This is not in my notes, but no one's going to believe me now that you've said what you've said. But I thought it would be a fun idea to talk about where did you get your inspiration from to make your first custom the way you did make it. Because for me, when I made Kira, like I said, I started with Scar, so I was in a big mindset about villains that have vanquishing as a main part of their gameplay, right?
murder.
So yeah, murder everything, all of it, commit crimes. I had the idea of focusing on this idea of defeating heroes as part of your objective that I kind of brought over from Scar. So a lot of the things that I introduced into Kira were, especially, I used to have this really big thing for cards like Be Prepared, where I really liked discarding cards from the top of your deck and then grabbing something out of the discard pile. For some reason, that was just the idea, the kind of like scrying / searching / type of card where I was like, this is how I want to grab stuff.
Fucking nerd.
That I need. What? Don't. You're so mean. And then obviously, I had the big focus on having a pile. What was basically a succession pile as well.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, I'm putting heroes into this pile. I need this amount.
Mm-hmm.
There are cards in effect that pull them out again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of, like, obviously you can tell this is where the concept really came from. Mm-hmm. and what I was using as like the base to, like, my reference for building this character was, okay, Scar does things this way, so I'm gonna use that as a foundation and build off that. Did you have something like that for Genesis?
Not really, because I didn't really get into officials until after. I think I didn't get into officials until after Hungry Box. I didn't play any officials for the most part.
Okay.
Because I wanted to dip my toes into customs as much as I could, and I'll tell you, the first customs that I ever played were of decent quality, but also keep in mind it was months and months and months ago. A lot of updates have been made since then, so a lot of these customs weren't up to the standards that they have now. I think the main part, I always had a dream of designing board games, so a big part of it was just I wanted to kind of break the mold and maybe have something out there, but in general, I'm not gonna lie to you, I just fucking winged it, and it obviously we saw what that took me. So, but I definitely valued thematics so much over everything, because I was like, I love Hotline Miami. It is a good game. So I value thematics over everything, and obviously that's well, it's not bad to go for thematics. It's also you can go for it in different ways, and we can always we'll get another podcast. Not today. But yeah, I didn't really give me a second. Anyway, I didn't really have really a baseline for that because I didn't have the official mindset really at that point.
Right. I would definitely suggest like to any creator that it's worth playing the official product to 100%. Understand. Yeah, to understand kind of these principles of custom design making, and
don't be like
yeah, don't be like you're one of the people. You're one of the people that's
problem.
Like,
I feel like
I'm just gonna make a custom.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make a custom. I don't know what's going on, but here it is. Here's animals.
You know what?
Killing
That's admirable. That's admirable. That is admirable. There is value in that, and you're gonna tell me otherwise.
That's admirable in the sense that you are the admiral of a ship, and we are all gonna mutiny you off the plank into the ocean.
Listen, buddy. People thought it was good. Shut up. I also originally there was dice throwing in janitors, and there was also a lot of luck. A lot of people don't know that version because I played it with a closed-off group. Oh my. It was not good. Every time you would vanquish a mafia member, you would roll a die, and if it was evens, they would live. Odds, they would die. If they died, they dropped an item that could be picked up by another vigilante, and it would... And then if they lived, then you can instead send the... It was a weird system.
This is why you need to play the official product.
But then afterwards... what?
Do you imagine? Yeah, I put all this effort into vanquishing a hero, and I roll evens and it lives.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
well, no, not the hero that would live. It would be the vigilante that would die or live. So it was either beneficial or just normal neutral.
So what you're really saying is Janitors was the secret Oogie Boogie custom.
Oh, 100%. It was the reskin. I lied to you guys. It was only Oogie Boogie. Fuck you all. Only Oogie Boogie allowed discussion time. No more custom no customs exist. It's only Oogie Boogie. I don't know why there's not more Oogie Boogies. I might throw my hat in the ring someday. But anyway, for the people that don't know, Oogie Boogie has like I think the most customs out of anybody, of any character. I think like 6 Oogie Boogies exist, and it's just an amazing inside joke every time somebody comes into the server and just goes, I'm really thinking of a good Oogie Boogie deck, and everybody goes, here we go. Because everybody just does dice and the same thing, and it's like and not even that it's bad, it's just it's really funny. It's really it's the laughing stock of like irony, where it's just like, we've seen 5 Oogie Boogies come by. Let's see if this one has dice throwing. Oh, it does? Oh my. I didn't even... It was surprised. But yeah.
Join us in our next podcast where we discuss which Oogie Boogie
is the best
truly
Oogie
represents the concept. No, not even the best. Which Oogie Boogie represents the concept of Snake Eyes the most?
Yeah.
Which one is like...
and for good measure, our ratings will be completely random as well. We will roll dice for ratings. That is. But anyway, we are coming down to the end of our podcast here for this first episode. Because people are telling me...
Because it's the first episode, because there will be more.
Yeah, there will be more. There will be more. This was not a one-off. Don't worry. I'm not quitting after one episode. I wanna hit double digits, and then I'll decide where to go from there, I think. If maybe my creative juices aren't going, but I think we'll keep it going for a while. I think. While I'm in and out working and doing school, which by the way, tomorrow's my first day of work. But anyway.
And maybe just maybe next time there will be less tangents.
Yeah.
Maybe just maybe.
Yeah. Maybe next time I'll write notes. And if anybody if anybody wants to be a guest, I'm gonna be asking people to be a guest. But if anybody also wants to be a guest, DM me. Just because you DM me though, do not expect to be a guest. I will have if I don't know you, or if I look through the repertoire and I'm like, all right, has made one custom ever and it's weird. Thank you for asking. No. But if for the most part, I'll be trying to accept everyone, and I will be expanding the horizons the more people start, the more guests we get on here, because there's not that many people in the community, to be honest with you. There's a lot of people, but there's also not infinite. So we'll go down the horizons, and the standards will lower slowly over time, and we'll just get random people. And we're just like, oh, let's talk about customs. Let's shoot the shit.
We could have a questions box. That would be really nice.
True.
We get people to send. If you want to send us questions, we can give our thoughts.
Send it at thewickedlytalented@gmail.com. No, just DM us. Follow Meep and Tab 1000 if you see us on the server. We're usually pretty active. Whenever people are talking, but.
Yeah, not when don't call on us to revive chat from dead.
Yeah,
that's not what we're here. We only join in progress conversation.
In progress conversation. Do not expect me to start a conversation. If I start a conversation, it will go downhill fast. I've been banned from the server before. It will not. That we will make it a second time.
You have been banned. That's wild.
Which is really funny. I'm really sad about that, because now I will never know my original time that I've spent on the server. Which I've been banned before for not bad reasons, by the way. It was a joke. I had a double king build that I wanted to test. I was like, yes, I'm ready. And then I was like, does anybody want to play? And I didn't put it in TTS matchmaking. I put it in TTS discussion. And Not My Dance banned me for a joke, and it was depressing. I was crying, and I lost all my rolls and everything. It was. I still haven't recovered, and then my forum was fucked up too because I wasn't the original owner. But anyway, yeah. Not my forum, my thread. But
Thread. Gosh, remember threads? What a time.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like they died like a week ago. But anyway, for anybody that's been listening, that has been listening, or that has gotten to this point, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with more soon, probably this month again. I want to make this kind of a bi-weekly series. We'll see where the tide takes us. All of it is experimental. Let's fucking go, bro. We might even play games in the middle. Well, let's see what works. What does it? You know what I mean? Have fun with it. I do think customs are a huge topic, and there's so much to be derived from them, so we're not going to be losing stuff to talk about anytime soon. And we might even put some guides up here, some advice, whatever we have to share. Can you tell how much the customs committee should hire me? Guys, come on. But petition me. Come on. But anyway, that's a joke.
Or is it?
Or is it? In my DMs, come on, guys. Come on, RPM. Let's hit it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This was Follow Me and Jab 1000. I'll see you all in our next podcast. Bye.
Goodbye.